Logan Paul has somehow managed to get himself back into controversy regarding how he's behaved with somebody that's dead. You know, if I had a nickel for every time Logan Paul got himself into something like this, well, I'd have 2 nickels. Now, specifically today, we are talking about Oliver Tree, very well-known singer, performer. I was a big fan of him around the time that Alien Boy dropped, and I was still listening to one of his songs, I think it was called Flowers, up until recently here. And unfortunately, just about a month and a half ago now, on June 14th, he passed away. Yep. He died in a pretty...
Dude, it came out of nowhere, and I'm a huge fan of Oliver Tree. Whenever I was going through my huge breakup in 2020, Oliver Tree helped get me out of that mood, man.
Brutal helicopter accident where 2 helicopters collided into each other. Now, Oliver was also known decently in the commentary scene. He had interactions and was friends with Ethan Klein, who runs the H3 show. And he also interacted, you know,
The H3 show, the H3 podcast, is the reason that I got into Oliver Tree.
Enough with Logan Paul. And so these 2 individuals, in tandem with quite a few other people, ended up giving their own speeches over the course of...
He was really good friends with like Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino.
Of Oliver Tree's celebration of life, which was live streamed over the course of about 3.5 hours. Now, the 2 main issues that people have with what happened here is when Logan Paul went to present his side of things, people thought that he was, you know, making jokes in incredibly poor taste. People really didn't like it. And on top of that, he is advertising...
Okay, yeah, the advertising. I was just going to say, the jokes I don't care about.
A product using kind of the Prime brand or the parody that Oliver created called Slime, and he's advertising and now selling a limited time edition of this product, Slime, for people to purchase. A lot of the people that are upset think that he did everything in poor taste, and he's just kind of being an asshole. And
okay. I thought this was going to be much worse than it actually is.
Using this guy's grave to effectively, you know, platform and, you know, put his name out there, put his brand out there, and profit off of this. But I think that there is a lot more to this than just that. And I will say, which is a bit mind-blowing for me and the stuff that I have covered in regards to Logan Paul, that I do think that people are being a bit too harsh. And I think that there's a lot of context that people seem to be missing.
Yeah, man. Okay. Let's get upset about him for real shit that he does. Let's get upset about him pretending that he's into fandoms, but really he's just trying to make money. Let's focus on that. By making this a big deal, you're downplaying all the other bullshit that he does, all the scams and everything. Like, come on, dude.
Or just ignoring because they find Logan insufferable. Now I'm going to show you guys clips from even actually Ethan Klein's speech that he gave because he is followed up by Logan Paul. And I just want you guys to understand, you know, how everything was set up. And of course, before we jump into any of that, if you could just scroll down a little bit, leave this video a thumbs up, perchance a hype. It's just a quick button press that really helps out the video. Speaking of which, if you would also like to consider subscribing, really helps the channel out. But regardless of you doing any of that, just thank you for watching. And before I even show you the clips that I want to show you guys from Ethan Klein's speech here, I want to help better set the precedent as well, which is that these guys were told that this was a roast of Oliver Tree. That was the context that they had going into it, and that is what they prepared, because that's just kind of the guy Oliver was. If any of you followed along, were big fans of Oliver, it would make sense that he would want something like this for a celebration of life, and that's what they gave him for cringe or for worse.
You know, Oliver's called me talentless, hacky, unfunny, ugly, old. He said my career is dead, but you know what, buddy? My career might be dead, but you are literally dead. What a fucking idiot. Fucking hell. One of the very first conflicts I ever had with Oliver was he brought the world's biggest jewel vape into my studio to try to one-up me. As you can see, he fell short. But I figured the best way to pay homage to my old nemesis is to bring the monster vape out for one more time. One fat rip for my homies.
Vape Nation! The Vape Nation!
Oh, dude, fuck. That shit rips nasty. I put a little bit of his ashes on there. I hope you guys don't mind. I helped myself to the urn. Oh, nasty.
All right, man.
So we've got, I smoked his ashes from the urn. I hope you guys are chill with that. He fell short, which I think is a reference to the helicopter, or maybe it's the size of the giant vape that he brought. And of course,
think it's a
my
helicopter.
career's dead, but you're dead. Now, I'm not going to act like these were like the funniest jokes in the world. I don't think they really landed very.
I think that they landed for Ethan's actual audience because it was cringe and weird, just like their interactions that they had on the podcast.
Very well, but again, at the same time, this is someone who is much more of a friend to Oliver Tree than any of us, you know, anyone watching on outside of course, their family and the actual friends that he had there.
Yeah, it definitely landed for people who were into that dynamic that they had, because that was the energy that they brought, was that weird, awkward, kind of funny, but the more awkward it gets, the funnier it gets kind of energy.
None of us would really know, much to the degree that Ethan Klein or his family would know, what Oliver thinks is funny. At the end of the day,
we're going to get to Logan Paul.
Doing it for him. And I think that for better or for worse, that's also why the roast went on, even if Ethan or Logan were not the best people to be doing that. And again, keep in mind, I'm showing you guys this stuff because I only think it's fair, even for Logan Paul or anybody else that I'm going to cover, that we have an understanding of the context of what was going on. Logan Paul, I believe an hour later, would follow into doing his speech, and this is kind of the tone that was already set for this celebration of life. But now, of course, with all of that, I guess, padding and fairness out of the way, here was a few clips from Logan Paul's speech here.
Crazy. What's up? How y'all doing? Man, I gotta say, I do Monday Night Raw every single Monday on Netflix, and this is a better crowd than that. Damn.
This is not Logan Paul right here. This is Logan Paul. This is completely different. He's playing a character.
Y'all turned out.
I don't like to defend Logan Paul, but that's what's happening here.
Y'all really turned out. They played that song Alien Boy earlier, and man, the first lyric, I fell down to earth. Oliver was a genius. He was ahead of his time. He couldn't have written a more accurate lyric.
Oh, come on.
Oliver, brother, I can't believe they asked me to roast you because you clearly didn't need my help for that.
Oh, that's a good one.
They literally said it was a roast. And look, I prepared a little something, but the tech team fucking didn't have a PowerPoint clicker. I love PowerPoints. They didn't have a PowerPoint clicker. So they made me send them individual photos. There's a bright ass light in my face, but when I do this, change the fucking photo. And to the tech guy up there, what's your name, bro? I know you have a little microphone. I'm going to address you personally. Brian or Brian with a B?
Oh, Brian.
What the fuck, Ryan?
So, yeah. Now
that was pretty good.
Now, don't get me wrong, that tail end there where he's kind of having this like back and forth, it almost kind of seems a little jovial. He's got the picture flipped upside down, the tech guy. I don't think any of that was directly intentional. And Logan Paul, you know, leading into starting this by talking about his plight with the tech team and not being able to get his little presentation clicker, just maybe seems a bit out of touch or just unnecessary.
No, I disagree. I love that. I think it's hilarious.
Given the context. Maybe it was just a joke that didn't really land, but I think Logan was actually...
I don't know. It landed for me. I don't know, man. I thought that was pretty funny.
Upset and decided to bring it up in front of everyone because of that. Now, again, yes, his jokes, I didn't think they were that funny.
I kind of disagree. I think it was pretty good, actually.
I thought they were just pretty bad roasts, and they just really, again, did not land well. He got truly...
That's the problem. They didn't land well.
Crickets for one of those. I think that was very clear to him, and I think that's why he was like, please, like, they told me that this was a roast, and he seemed very sincere there. Even with that, though, even with the troubleshooting issues that he decided to air out publicly to everyone here at the celebration, which, come to think of it, Oliver's done stuff like that in the past. It's very much in his brand that he would do stuff like that. Maybe he's paying homage, I don't know. But anyway, he presents all of these photos showing the different moments that they had shared together, whether it be, you know, talking about Oliver, and he pokes fun at him and also, I guess, shows a little humility. He has this joke where he's effectively saying, you know, I take steroids, and he, you know, I guess admits to that in some sort of sense and pokes fun at Oliver. And it was well done enough. And it culminated with, I would say, his least bad joke.
Look, when most people look at me, they think, wow, that guy has a dumbass haircut. And I get it.
I think
When
he's
not
got a
in the
good
context
haircut.
of professional
What was happening? What is happening right now? Why am I flipping in favor of Logan Paul right now?
wrestling, people take one glance at me and assume I'm just a guy on steroids with the dumbest hair in the world. But those people are wrong, because there was one person in
He's literally got the same hair as one of my favorite wrestlers, Owen Hart.
the world with dumber hair.
That's a good picture.
This is Oliver Tree. He's not a professional wrestler, just what some people considered a rock star. But I went to Oliver Tree's show, and he looked like this.
I want to see it.
By
Damn
any
it, cameraman.
metric, that is not a rock star. That is just a guy on steroids with the dumbest hair in the world. But you see, this is actually one of the many things that we had in common. The dumb hair, I mean, obviously. So we bonded while getting haircuts together, and the conversations were electric. He would accuse me of taking performance-enhancing drugs. I would accuse him of being on Ozempic, and so on. I don't have
they're not
proof.
landing anymore.
I do not have
That's a good picture.
proof, but he lost 25 pounds in a very short amount of time. I'm still pretty suspect about it. Obviously, nothing wrong with GLP-1s and peptides, which again, I know nothing about.
Now he continues on, does this, bit back and forth and shows different photos from them wrestling, things like that, where he dressed up as Oliver Tree. And looking at it all again, I think that the main issue that people have and why this kind of warps down into something that's a lot more upsetting to a lot of people is number one,
Those people are fucking pussies! Fucking pussies! They can't take jokes! I mean, even if they're bad jokes, they're still jokes. We know what's going on here. There's no reason to be mad at them for it.
the second piece of it, which of course is
Be mad at them for the scams.
the slime thing, which we're going to get into. But in regard to this specific thing, I think that generally a lot of people find Logan unpleasant. Just to kind of be around, watch him interact with the world, he's just generally unpleasant. The jokes didn't land.
Yeah, just quit being a fucking pussy, man. You see all these screaming leftoid freaks online, and you're gonna get upset about Logan Paul just being kind of mid. Really?
And if you weren't actually watching the Celebration of Life and you took this out of context, it would look like he was just being a dick and he thought it would be funny. Versus this is something that Oliver would have wanted. And maybe the amount of cringe that Logan is providing to the Celebration of Life is exactly something that he would have wanted.
No, 1000%. As a fan of Oliver Tree would be all over this. And he'd probably be making fun of him if he was there, being like, hey, this is the most shit presentation that I have ever seen. Do better, you fucking moron. That's exactly what Oliver Tree would say to him.
Again, we won't know that.
You're embarrassing me! This is supposed to be my event! You're supposed to do better!
Because we haven't interacted with Oliver nearly as much as even Logan Paul or Ethan or again his family. Now again, I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on it. If I'm, being too soft in my analysis or I think that this additional context is actually helping paint a better picture. But this moves us into the other piece that a lot of people are upset with. Now he comes to a close. I'll show the clip where he's kind of saying some very nice things about Oliver and then he gets cut off and he introduces Slime, which was Oliver Tree's parody of Prime that he used as a bit when he was on Logan Paul's podcast.
Jokes aside, guys, Oliver was everyone's best friend. He was an adventurer with an incomparable zest for life and the ultimate ability to make anyone feel seen and heard. Oliver is a generational artist whose legacy and music will last forever, and he'd be proud of all of us for keeping our heads up high by celebrating the impact of his time here on Earth, because
And the impact of the two helicopters hitting each other? Okay.
at the end of the day, life goes on, and you get it. Look, my name is Logan Paul, and it wouldn't be on brand for me if I didn't plug my brand while people were watching.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna have to cut your speech short. I knew all that came from your heart and stuff. But one of our sponsors needs to play an important message. Sorry, man. I don't make the rules. And this show ain't gonna pay for itself.
Slime was founded on just two principles: live good, feel good.
This shit's good.
When you drink a bottle of slime, you can feel the energy coursing through not just your body, but your soul as well.
Shit lubes
This
up your
alright.
vocal cords. I used it before singing.
We are a family-owned company that is obsessed with living a life to the fullest.
It tastes a hell of a lot better than this prime bullshit.
It has 3,000 calories.
With about 3,000 calories and 100 grams of protein, just to name a few of its healthy benefits.
You see me out on the
Logan Paul screaming about his 3,000 calories. That's pretty funny.
street. I'm drinking slime. We're taking over. Slime.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? Don't fucking touch the slime. Hey, take some with you.
Now, this was not just paying homage to the parody slime that Oliver Tree had created.
Yeah, he was straight up, you know, he was showing off his prime product by calling it slime as a joke. Yeah, I am fine with this.
It actually turned into this. Logan Paul put out a tweet, released a limited run of slime to honor Oliver's legacy. All proceeds go to his foundation for young artists.
Cool.
And here is, of course, that post. It's sitting at 2.6 million views, and then he's got a link over to it, and we can take a look at it over on the Prime website. Slime by Oliver Tree. Oliver believed in using his platform to make a difference.
But does it have 3,000 calories? If it doesn't have 3,000 calories, then he deserves to be canceled because that is not Oliver Tree's slime.
Every dollar from this limited edition bottle supports the, and then they had a typo, missed a space, but the Dr. Oliver Tree's extremely epic art grant for Baby Geniuses Foundation, and continues that mission.
Baby Geniuses, I used to watch that movie over and over again when I was a kid.
Purchase a bottle of slime for $10, enjoy free shipping, and we'll donate 100% of the proceeds to the Oliver Tree Foundation to support emerging artists. And they have a fun little blurb about the attempt for the 3,000 calories, which just wasn't possible. As they said, they're still not sure how Oliver did it, but that's what makes him brilliant. Now, right off the bat, it seems like a lot of people didn't seem to catch the donating 100% of the proceeds to, you know, the foundation, the Baby Geniuses Foundation that was created by Oliver. If we hop back over to Logan Paul's post about it, you can see, man never wastes an opportunity to make dirty money. People are literally trolling you for donating these proceeds. Honestly, a W from Logan, but people are interpreting it wrong. Other people mentioning marketing a dead person. I wonder what this reminds me of. Someone says, bro, literally just said any money that is made off of this drink will be donated to his family, except, I mean, to his...
You know, I don't even care about the fucking Logan Paul Japanese forest thing anymore when we've got people like Hassan Piker out here actually supporting terrorism. I remember when that was the worst thing possible that could happen on the internet was Logan Paul making fun of a dead person. But now, look where we are. We got actual fucking terrorists on Twitch. Like, come on, man. People need to grow the fuck up.
His foundation, and you guys are still upset with a carrot in your ass. Can you not read or just refuse to read? And now this is the argument that I have seen from other individuals, and I'll just read this one because they replied to the one I just read, saying, yeah, the money might go to the foundation, but this is still promoting his brand irrespective of if he makes money. Probably wouldn't be an issue if he didn't have a history of giving a fuck about no one but himself. And that really seems to be...
I think that's not true about the not giving a fuck about anybody but himself. I think he doesn't give a fuck about audiences. I think he gives a fuck that there is an audience. I just don't think that he cares about the people who are, one, giving him shit online, and two, who are barely a part of his audience.
Be the culmination if we are separating people just not being aware of the fact that they're donating all the proceeds. This is what the other argument is, which is that Logan Paul here is advertising effectively Prime by doing this venture. And even if 100% of the proceeds are going to Oliver...
If he would have crashed the memorial, funeral, whatever it was, and only promoted Prime, I still think that would have been fine. Because that's just the kind of energy that Oliver Tree had.
Tree's foundation, he's still able to essentially promote his own brand while he's doing it, even if he was, you know, being self-aware of it during his...
Flip it. Let's flip it. Let's say Logan Paul died and Oliver Tree went to the funeral. Would everybody be fine if Oliver Tree crashed the funeral and promoted his own product and that was it? Everybody would eat it up and fucking love it.
Speech. Another point that
But it's because of the past with Logan. Blah, blah, blah. I just don't fucking care, dude. There's so many worse things that Logan Paul does. This is just a non-issue.
I've seen made is just like, why wouldn't Logan just donate a lump sum over to the foundation, knowing that realistically, you could probably donate more, if not twice as much as whatever he makes off of the slime sales out of pocket and not bat an eye. He
He probably, I wonder. I'm going to look it up. Oh, literally, okay, he can't because it just opened up. Well, I guarantee you that he's probably going to be putting more and more money into that, and he might even advertise the fact that he's doing that. But I don't care, man.
Also wouldn't need to promote it, and he would...
It started June 14th, so he hasn't really had time to actually donate.
Unfortunately miss out on the tax write-offs and incentives, which I'm positive he is going to benefit from himself doing this, limited time slime offer. At the same time, I also don't fully know if Oliver would be against something like this. He wouldn't. He might just really
That's the big thing here. Oliver Tree would not be against any of this. And actually would probably be calling him a pussy behind the scenes because he's not pushing harder.
Funny. Altogether, I mean, Logan Paul interacted and was more of a friend with Oliver than just about any of us were, excluding, again, the people that were there for the celebration of life. And maybe there would be a much bigger issue at face value if 100% of the proceeds weren't going to Oliver Tree's foundation. It is putting that money where it should be going.
And he's not going to stop there because I just looked at it. It's a pretty good foundation, man.
From my perspective, especially in this situation, I don't think that the bad that people would glean that Logan Paul would benefit from in this situation, like perceiving how Logan Paul is going to personally benefit from this, viewing that as the negative of this happening, I don't know if...
I don't think that it's going to bring on, what's the argument here? That people are going to be flipped over to start drinking Prime now that he's got slime for a limited time and he's donating? I'm pretty sure they've already got their fan base. They're not going to get any more. I don't think really anybody's going to fall off because of this. I don't think that he's actually benefiting from this.
If that really outweighs the positive of being able to get this much money into Oliver Tree's foundation. I think that that's honestly going to beat out any personal victory Logan Paul is going to get from this. And I think the negative PR that he's already received from just generally being very unlikable by a lot of people might also just kind of counteract any good publicity he was going to get by sheer proximity of, doing this and doing it under his Prime brand. I don't want to theorize too much on it, but I am very curious to hear what you guys think.
I think when it comes to the public, that anything that Logan Paul does is neither going to affect him in a good way or a bad way. I think he's just going to stay the same level. Behind the scenes, who knows, man? That's where his real money is. It's not coming from the audience. It's coming from deals that he makes with other people.
I feel like there is a lot of gray area in a situation like this, and I'm just kind of more curious to see what people outside of Twitter and in comment sections think, because it seemed like a lot of people were not super informed, and that was another big reason that I wanted to make this video. Again, I am really not a big fan of Logan Paul myself, and as a matter of fact, there is a video coming out tomorrow on my channel.
I am literally getting into it in this video, right now,
to talk more about him and his lawsuit against CoffeeZilla. But even with that, I still think that there should be a fair shake given whenever there's an opportunity to. And I think due to the fact that there is such a negative perception of Logan Paul, that I don't think he really got a fair shake in this situation. And I think that people more so that didn't actually watch the celebration of life were the ones that were dogging on him for his speech.
This is like if people got mad at somebody I'm going to compare him to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, people get mad that he donated to a cause when that's not the thing to be mad about. You're just getting mad because it's Harvey Weinstein instead of getting mad at the real things that he does as bad.
Speech being so in poor taste, when I think it lined up more with what Oliver Tree would have wanted than had it just been singing in the guy's praise. That's it for the video today. Please be sure to leave a like if you...
Cool. Now I'm going to move on to the next one right now. And I'm going to have to fix everything. Okay, it's all good. Refresh it.
It is actually over. Logan Paul's defamation lawsuit against CoffeeZilla has
really
officially
over this time.
settled, or is in the process and closing out settling. Unfortunately, this is not settling in some very exciting way in either, I guess Logan Paul winning or CoffeeZilla winning.
I knew it was going to come to this.
But they are settling out of court. CoffeeZilla has deleted a couple of tweets, a couple of videos. I'm going to show you guys, to the best of my knowledge, which ones those were, and kind of go over that initial context again for why.
And it's not a cover-up. It's probably the court is forcing him to delete them.
we're even here in the first place, because there are a lot of CoffeeZilla's videos that are still up about the Logan Paul CryptoZoo scam. Of course, though, right before we jump in, if you could just quick scroll down, leave this video a thumbs up, perchance a hype, it just really helps out the video. And while you're down there, consider subscribing. I'm sure you'll just see my videos pop up anyway, but helps me out a ton. And regardless of if you do any of that.
You know what my take on this whole thing is? Logan Paul is a piece of shit for scamming people. I kind of don't think that he did it on purpose. I think he was trying to make money, but he's also just retarded, and he was surrounded by other retards that were more retarded than he was, and he thought that they were going to help him out, they were going to do good, because they were smart in a lot of fields that he was into. But at the end of the day, they were all just a bunch of retarded frat boys.
That just thank you for watching. Now, if we jump over to Court Listener here, I'll leave a link in the description to this specific document if you guys would like it. They were kind of going back and forth about people showing up in person, things like that. And then it culminated with this document here, Order for Dismissal Papers. On July 13th, 2026, the court was advised that this case has settled. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered that the party shall submit a stipulation of dismissal or agreed judgment and any appropriate supporting documents on or before Friday, August 14th, 2026. The parties are unable to submit those documents by that date, et cetera, you know, it has to be for a good reason, whatever. All pretrial deadlines in this case are hereby stayed pending the submission of the parties' stipulation of dismissal or agreed judgment. So essentially, none of the other shit matters because the case is being dismissed. Any motions pending in this action are denied as moot, but they are still subject to re-urging should the settlement fail. So if it doesn't go through, maybe that won't be the case. And then the court hereby administratively closes this case pending the filing of dismissal papers. If the parties wish to reopen this case, they may do so by filing a motion to that effect. And this is Logan Paul's joint stipulation of dismissal with prejudice. And we can see here, I don't know a ton of the lawyers speak, but I do understand this bit at the end here. The parties stipulate to the dismissal of this action with prejudice, with each party to bear their own attorney's fees and costs. So the lawyers win here. Now, taking a look here, I have not seen CoffeeZilla's papers or, you know, stipulation.
That's what we were all saying this whole time. The people who weren't just emotional about it, the people that were being real about it, that really at the end of the day, the lawyers are winning and both of them are going to lose because of this.
For dismissal, whatever
I wanted CoffeeZilla to win.
Are for it yet.
Don't get me wrong. I wanted him to win, but I didn't think he was gonna.
I'm assuming that will be coming forward as well. Now, when a case dismisses like this, usually we don't get to know a lot of what those stipulations for the case settling were, who is getting paid what, anything like that. But it does appear that at least as a part of this, you know, case settling, CoffeeZilla has agreed to delete some of his videos and some of his tweets. There's a video that is a bit longer than the one that I'm making here that goes into a bit more detail by a guy named Scott Schaefer. Like I said, his video does a great job of going over everything. But the reason I bring his video up is he also drew attention to this fact. If we go over to CoffeeZilla's channel, we go to his playlist of investigating CryptoZoo, you can see 2 unavailable videos are hidden. Now, the reason that I bring up Scott Schaefer's videos, because he does a good job of explaining why the videos that CoffeeZilla removed were removed. And that's because those were the ones that were actually associated with the lawsuit, being that the way that defamation works, you have a year after the, you know, alleged defamatory claims are made for you to file your defamation case against it. It's a statute of limitations. Now, it appears that not only these 2 videos, which I can show you here, based on the names of them, I was able to find them here. So CoffeeZilla's Logan Paul scam isn't over video, as well as Logan Paul's refund video. These both fell into that year threshold that allowed Logan Paul to sue him for the claims that he made in these videos. And then in addition to those 2 videos, there were also tweets like this one. Logan Paul really is the type of dude to thank you when you expose a scam, then block you when you remind him to pay up. This is one of the only ones I was able to confirm to, like, you know, looking it up.
Yeah, that was kind of like just the back and forth drama energy. I could see how that one got deleted.
Trying to find it. Other people on CoffeeZilla's Reddit have also noticed that that tweet specifically has been deleted. Now, in regard to that context, I want to show you guys a part of Scott's video. I'll put a link down in the description for it. So huge shout out to him. But he shows the context for when these, you know, tweets and videos from CoffeeZilla had arisen. And it was that in between time when Logan Paul told CoffeeZilla that he was going to, you know, sue him and that he should lawyer up and he'll see him in court. And then he got clowned on for this video and then immediately backtracked and apologized and then thanked CoffeeZilla, which is referenced in that tweet from Coffee. You know, saying thank you so much for
I
holding
remember
me
all
accountable or shit like that. It almost seems like, looking back now, that it was almost a setup for a trap to get him to say more things so that he could postpone sending out that defamation case. I think a lot of people, including myself, are, you know, under the belief that he wanted to sue CoffeeZilla over his original 3-part series that he had made on it, but of course, again, he had waited too long. But with all that being said, here's the clips that I'm talking about.
I got everything stolen from me and our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social.
See, yeah, this is what I was talking about, where I don't think that he was actually trying to scam people. I think he's just retarded and surrounded himself with retards who are willing to scam him.
And you still published a defamatory hit piece.
And he just didn't know what he was doing.
Fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical.
That's not what happened either, though. Yeah, that's so fucking bullshit. Logan Paul is such a shitty person.
Dangerously misleading and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it. We're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Now, after he put out that video, the internet collectively clowned on Logan Paul, and Logan Paul ultimately decided to back down. He took down the video saying he would sue CoffeeZilla, put out a new video thanking CoffeeZilla for investigating and saying that he was going to do everything to make it right by people who lost money with CryptoZoo.
That's what he should have done right out the gate.
CoffeeZilla is not.
That's what he's retarded. That's what I was saying, man.
Not a criminal. I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego flare, whatever it is, pride. I'm a fighter at heart, and I was defensive because I know I never scammed anyone with this project. I never made any money, never sold any tokens, and I only had the best intentions going in. But the fact
I think that it still counts as a scam, even if you don't make any money.
is suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my
attempted scam. I don't know.
Attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of me. You guys mean the world to me, so I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward. I appreciate your guys' patience while we do our internal investigation, and I promise to be transparent and disclose any information we find out in the process.
Did he do that?
Lastly, thank you, CoffeeZilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation. And I mean that. Thank you, bro.
Nice little reminder for how cringy and terrible Logan handled it, and then immediately walking back the "I'm not going to sue you" thing with suing him. Now, to kind of bring this all together and talk about what the settlement means, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah, that whole video where he was backtracking, that was just to keep people from talking shit about him online, because everybody was. All of the big creators were. Charlie was talking about him. He's one of the biggest creators, and I think that Logan Paul had a lot of respect for him, and he was hurt by that.
Because it's a settlement. CoffeeZilla removing those videos is not because, you know, in the settlement, Logan has won. Although, I guess you can kind of look at it that way, because it really looked like CoffeeZilla had a good case to...
Yeah, it really seems like CoffeeZilla is the one who did not come out on top, and Logan Paul did, and that's so sad.
You know, shut him down with. But settling just means settling. You're not finding out if the defamatory claims were true, if they were actually defamatory, or if they weren't. And Logan Paul, like he admitted in DMs that got leaked during this court process, was just doing this to financially burden CoffeeZilla. And so Logan Paul responds, "That's the idea. Need to shut it down." And then his friend says, "Public humiliation is always more effective." To which Logan Paul says, "I totally agree." Now,
you see what I mean? Surrounded himself with retards.
this is the big one. Logan Paul says in regard to the lawsuit with CoffeeZilla that he's suing CoffeeZilla just to make his life difficult, which, I mean, seems like he's succeeded in that endeavor as they are settling out of court. This simply means that, you know, instead of having to go through the rigmarole and the drawn out process that Logan is planning on doing here and has said it effectively, they would just rather be done with it and cut the losses. And effectively, you know, the lawyers win. They make a shit ton of money. Nobody really else does. And it really did just become a financial...
You know who the real losers were in this? It was the internet. Because once again, a piece of grimy garbage got away with doing some crazy shit that made him some money. He may have not made money directly, but he did make money off of the ad revenue talking about it, off of the deals that he made to get other people to talk about it.
burden to Coffee. It sucks that he had to delete his extra videos, but he didn't have to delete the huge 3-part series that really blew the whole thing up with CryptoZoo, which I'm very happy to see is still up. But again, this is also just very realistic. CoffeeZilla is very well off, but comparatively to Logan, he didn't stand a chance if this was just going band for band through the court system.
Honestly, I blame the internet for that, because CoffeeZilla, really the only way that he was getting money was from the Patreon and was from selling t-shirts to pay for this this whole lawsuit situation. And I don't think that people gave him enough money. So really, that's on us. I didn't buy a t-shirt. I don't see anybody wearing CoffeeZilla's t-shirts.
Was hoping that maybe with some of the messages that were, leaked early on in the court case, that there may have been more leniency on
I think there were bigger fish to fry for the internet, and that's why nobody really cared.
behalf of, the court for CoffeeZilla, seeing what Logan Paul's intentions were, at least in his messages. But obviously, I do not know the legal system well enough to know how that would actually impact it, or if it would even be allowed to impact the case. If there are somehow any lawyers watching this, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, as well as, I guess, anybody else with how this has culminated. It is a bummer that we don't get to see it to its end, because I really do think that Coffee had a strong lead here. It just came down to that financial burden. And I'm hopeful that at the very least, CoffeeZilla...
Unfortunately, that's the way it works with lawsuits. The people who have more money usually come out on top, even if they're the ones who actually did the bullshit. But the money, everything's based around money. That's why you can't go against giant corporations like Disney.
Zilla may get to say something about the matter or something along those lines with the settlement agreement, but until I see Coffee's side of things being submitted, and I don't even know if that would be included in the settlement proceedings that will show up on Court Listener, what he is allowed to say or what he isn't allowed to say now that this is wrapped up. Scott Schaefer points this out a lot, and he's also apparently had this idea that this was going to settle pretty much no matter what, because that's just kind of how lawsuits go. It is just a band-for-band contest, and the writing was on the wall.
It's a boxing match, and your gloves are made out of straight-up gold. And whoever has the most gold wins.
At the start for Scott, and it makes the most sense. I guess the moral of the story is, in case you somehow forgot it, the court system is very pay to win, or at the very least pay to draw it out long enough that no one wants to fight you. That's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave it a thumbs up.
Dude, I don't like Logan Paul. I hope the first part of this video didn't make you think that I actually like him because of that Oliver Tree thing. Oliver Tree liked him, but it's okay to have shitty friends. Everybody's got shitty friends.